Kia ora and welcome back to Cultivate Conversations. In this episode, I catch up with Olympic gold medalist 7-star Gayle Broughton as we reflect back on Tokyo and the journey that it was to get to the top of the podium. I hope you enjoy this episode. Well, kia ora e hoa, Gayle Broughton, Olympic gold medalist. Great to have you on the podcast there, G. Welcome to Cultivate Conversations. How you going?
Thank you, Cez. Appreciate the time. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Back into training up here in the beautiful Mount Maunganui. Obviously, since Tokyo, had a bit of a holiday, bit of leave. Had a bit of celebration, but no, all besides that, I've been great. Thank you.
Hey, let's go back and just relive that the last few months, I guess. But in particular, July and August, you got on the plane to Townsville for your pre-camp. First of all, what was it like going to an international airport for the first time in so long for you?
Oh my God, it was one word to sum it all up was foreign. It was completely different. Obviously it's empty. I'm so used to airports being, crowded and people catching flights, but yeah, it was like a ghost town really. Going into Auckland International Airport and checking in for a flight. But I think the coolest thing was, for it being a ghost town, pretty much meant, you could just run everywhere and do anything in the airport. There were no lines. But no, it was awesome to finally catch a flight to another country, and no better way to start it than in Townsville.
Yeah, and so it was sunny, North Queensland, where you acclimatized and your final preparation. What was that like? You've had this massive 5-year period to get to that point. Was there a feeling of excitement, nerves, or was it just like, right, it's business time now?
Yeah, I guess for me personally, like it was exciting, I get to fly out of New Zealand, which was the first exciting thing. But I guess for me, it was the next step to getting to the Olympics. And, as you said, 5 years, like it's crazy thinking about. I can't even remember what happened in the last 5 years leading up to Townsville. I couldn't tell you honestly what tournaments or anything. If anything, Townsville obviously being that has to be the hottest place in Australia. Like, I've been to Sydney, I've been to Perth, I've been to Gold Coast, but Townsville heat was just like, it was the type like you could crack an egg on the road and you could cook your eggs. Like, that's how bloody hot it was, eh? But it was awesome to get to that step, and I knew all I had to do was make that opportunity happen of making the Olympics and put my best foot forward.
And you did certainly make that opportunity happen. You were named in the team. Then the team headed off to Tokyo for this big stage. But let's go back and just, talk about Rio and how much, I guess, that was a motivating factor for you personally over the last 5 years. It was a challenging time for so many people. What was it like for you? Did you feel like giving up at any point?
Yeah, I guess looking back at Tokyo, obviously, I was a young 21-year-old, just super excited to even make an Olympic team, let alone win an Olympics. So I think for me, I was massive on gratitude back then because, I didn't know anyone from my hometown back in Hawera Taranaki that had ever even dreamed of going to the Olympics, you know. So for me, that was just a massive milestone, and to win a silver medal was even bigger, you know, because not much people get to do that. So for me, Rio was yeah, it definitely hurt because, as my grandfather would say, if you come second, you're pretty much last. So yeah, it was a tough one. Yeah,
Brutal.
it was a tough
Jeez,
one.
Grandpa,
Yes,
Koro.
very brutal, but oh, Koro's very honest man. That man is, but no, those words definitely live deep inside of me, and yeah, the whole 5 year work up to Tokyo was it was a pure feeling of revenge. I wanted revenge, and I wanted to get back at coming second, pretty much, you know. But in that journey, I learned, you know, there's more to winning gold, and there's more to being just the, you know, rugby player. And I think over those 5 years, the biggest learnings I learned were all off the field, let alone, you know, on the field. So no, it was a very amazing but different kind of 5 years. Going through, like I said, with my own journey of, you know, trying to find myself as Gail instead of just the sevens player, and um, working through, I guess, mental health issues, and not only that, but trying to become a sevens player, you know, a proper sevens player. So yeah, the last 5 years has definitely been an amazing journey, and I don't think I regret anything that, you know, ever happened in those 5 years. But I definitely do know, you know, when I finally won gold and finally stood on that podium, you know, I don't think I thought of all the hard, you know, sweat, tears, blood, all that stuff. I think I thought about all the moments that I grew off the field. For me, was the biggest winning. So yeah.
So you mentioned about, you know, getting to Tokyo. Let's get into it about Tokyo. So you arrive in the Olympic Village. You've had your team captain and mate Sarah Hiddeny carry the flag as the leader of the New Zealand team. I mean, that must have been a special moment for the Seven Sisters in itself. How did that affect the team?
Yeah, I guess for us, like, you know, Cez, obviously, and you know how much of an amazing, not only athlete she is, but an amazing person. And I think, you know, I'm so lucky that I've had the opportunity to watch her grow and learn, as she has helped me grow and learn myself. So, you know, watching her receive that special occasion was, it definitely just showed just how much mana she has. But not only that, like, I felt like a proud little sister watching my big sister finally be rewarded with everything that she deserves. So it was definitely a massive thing for our team, because, you know, not much people, like I said, let alone get to go to the Olympics, but be a, you know, Olympic flag bearer. So it was, yeah, we definitely shed a few tears once we found out, and definitely still give her a bit of crap about it, because not much people know that half of the group actually left 2 days early so she could get there on time. And obviously the universe likes to make things a little bit difficult sometimes, and one of our flights happened to get cancelled, which obviously trickled down to a couple more flights being cancelled, which meant we possibly were going to get there a day late. So thankful for Jesus Christ Holy Above, and the amazing management team, and our amazing manager Tony. Without her, yeah, they definitely wouldn't have got
We wouldn't have had a
Cez
flag bearer
there on time. Yeah, exactly. It would have just been David.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you. Yeah, awesome. It just shows like we're so grateful not only for Cez but just the amount of mahi that went behind the scenes to get us as a team or to Tokyo, because it definitely was a bit of a bumpy ride trying to get 22 people in business class to Tokyo.
To rebook them the day before.
Yeah.
Crikey.
Yeah, had to do a bit of, hey, those ones. Hey, like, come on, help us out.
So you were initially going on the same flight as Sarah Hiddeny, your captain, who's also a Cultivate sport member, and you are now waiting to try and get a flight to Tokyo 24 hours later.
Yes, yep.
And you get there. Much. You get there, and she's carried the flag. She's come back to the village, and are you there to greet her?
Yes. So we literally got into Tokyo, I think 2 hours before she walked out. So once we got to the village, I think initially we showed up to our rooms, put our bags in, went across the road to have a kai, and then came back. And she had walked out with the flag. And by the time she got back, I can't remember what time it was, but pretty much we all greeted her back, gave her hugs, and it was so good to see her. Like her and Portia managed to get to Tokyo on time, which was a blessing. But it was also awesome to have them both there at that ceremony, and just to be able to watch her walk that flag out, like obviously it was through TV because due to COVID and not a lot of us could go, but like I said, like it was a proud little sister big sister moment, like just like I almost think of it as like when you see a really famous person and you're like, wow, like oh my god, like that's how I always, well, okay, that's a lie. I don't see Sarah like that all the time, but I don't want to make her head big, but no, it was awesome to watch her carry our flag in. Yep, 100%.
Hey, so you get out onto the training pitch. You do your last few trainings as you gather momentum into the pool matches. What were you feeling on day one of the redemption of Gayle Broughton at the Olympics and the redemption of the Seven Sisters? Let's bear in mind that you did get a silver medal. Pretty amazing achievement. But really,
yes,
I heard from a lot of you that the goal was only gold. Did you feel like you were on track going into pool play?
Yeah. Wow. I feel like a million years ago thinking about Tokyo, but it was actually not that long ago. But I guess for me, like the build up, like you said, training fields and stuff like that, like the week was so calm. It was probably the most calmest I've ever seen our team ever. Like we're doing Tik Toks, we're chilling out, we're making up dance routines, and like I'm not saying on tour we don't usually do that because that's just us in general, but it was just this absolute moment of like just calmness. And I guess day one I was like a little kid at a candy store, like I had dreamt of coming back here, redemption on my mind, and the only real thing in my head was just game by game, moment by moment, and that I worked my absolute ass off to be in this moment and live in this moment. And obviously a few pool play games didn't really go as I thought they would. We caused a few heart attacks here and there, which I'm totally sorry about. But
Thanks.
The whole time, but honestly, the whole time, like I did not have a worry in the world. Like I didn't,
What do you
like
think that
even
was?
when we were down, I think the biggest thing about our preparation that a lot of people don't know about is we we planned for all those situations. So we planned that we've been in those situations, we've trained in those situations where England are up 21-7 and it's going into the second half, and we've trained in those situations, and we knew what that felt like, and we never turned against each other. We never kind of went, oh God, I've got to play by myself and save this whole game. We knew that the only reason they were scoring tries were our own mistakes, or we just had to tweak a few things. And yeah, like I said, it was all in the preparation that leading up to Tokyo, we had practice and practice and practice and practice and practice being in those situations that when we were in them, we were like, oh, we've been here before. Like, we know that what this feeling is. And even if we practiced and practiced, I think back to Cape Town 2019 when England and us played in the semi and they were up 21-7 before halftime. And the same exact feeling. We went into our huddle, Seth, talked as she usually talks. Tyler talks like she usually talks. We come in, we look at each other and we go, sweet, okay, that's the game plan. We execute it and we go about the business. And that's honestly, that's all it was. It was just in our preparation that it got to the point that we had been in every situation, that it didn't matter what situation it was, whether it was Australia or Fiji or, all these other teams. We had already been there in that moment. So, yeah, absolutely just calm. And I think for us, even as a New Zealander, like, I know we're big on being humble and we're big on being gracious, but there has to be like a level of cockiness, because when I thought about the Fiji game, we're going into extra time and a lot of people would go, oh, okay, we really need to get this kick back. But for us as a team, I felt a lot of the time we would look, and if I see Stacey Flula, strike prop, about to get the ball kicked to her, I would absolutely put my house deposit money on her getting that kick over anybody else. And that's the type of like confidence and cockiness that we have about each other. And I think we encourage that in each other, in those moments. We always talked about, being courageous, living in the moment, and those little things, those are the things that I found that we prospered in those moments. So yeah, the pool play games were definitely very fun at times, but yeah, the England game definitely probably made a few heart race.
I'm just going to go back to a couple of points, G, because I don't necessarily think it's cockiness. I think it's trust. You trust you trust your mates to do their job when it matters. And I just want to know, like, how do you have this incredible synergy which just like radiates through you all, whether you're doing Tik Toks or whether you're hanging out with each other after training? Where does the foundation of trust start and come from in the Seven Sisters?
Yeah, I guess for our team, like, obviously the amazing work of, Alan Bunting and Corey Sweeney. But I think it started from their vision of leaving mana, and a vision for our team to leave mana wherever we go. And I think for us as a team, we all brought into that, whatever way that looked to us. Leaving mana to me looks different to Portia or Sarah or Stacey, but we all brought into that vision. And I think that was the first step of trusting the process. And then I think the second part is, we're really a sisterhood, and I think the biggest thing that not only our leadership, and a massive shout out to our leadership team because they've driven this from the absolute start, right after Rio, is that trust is shown in the little things, not just the big things. So, turning up on time to a meeting, saying you're going to help someone after skills, and doing that. It was for us, it was the little things, and it was not only just having the trust, but it was understanding each other's stories. So my story of growth and growing up, is a lot different to the likes of Kelly Brazier or Michaela Blyde, but not take away that, we're all here for a bigger purpose and a bigger reason. And yeah, it was just that was the biggest thing, is trusting the coach's vision and really buying into it. And once we all did that, it was just beautiful, and I think the thing with our team is that when chaos or controversy has come into it, whether it's been, someone's did something wrong or something's happened outside or even inside the environment, we've always handled it with love and with care. And I think that's the biggest thing about our environment, is that we actually care for each other, but not even just as rugby players, but as people. Like, I could call any one of these girls up right now if my car broke down and be like, hey, can I, like, I don't know, get a ride or do this? And those girls would come around here like in a heartbeat, and it's vice versa. So yeah, it's taken a lot of time, and it's also had its hard times, hard moments where we have to have hard conversations and, tell each other, you got to pull your head in here, you're starting to be an idiot. So it's just little stuff like that, but it's just the honesty, and if you can be honest with each other and the trust is there, then it just, it's a beautiful thing.
Magic happens, eh? So, what is leaving mana in your wake for Gayle Broughton?
Oh, great question. I guess for me, like, I think the biggest thing for me is I think of what mana means to me. So mana to me is my grandparents. Growing up, single parent mother, struggled, lived off nothing, but my grandparents were always there, and not even just from a money point of view, but from a support point of view, a love point of view. And to me, that makes me feel empowered and strong. And I also think of mana as like a superpower, like it's a crazy magical feeling, and that's what my grandparents give me every time, So to me, they're the inspiration around what mana means to me. And then for me, leaving mana is, I guess, the next generation, is me leaving my position or my spot in a better place for the next generation to come, because I've had the likes of, Huriana Manuel, Carla Hohepa, all those, Kayla McAllister, all those amazing athletes, come and go. And that's kind of what I inspire to leave my mana in that way, where when the next person comes and they go, wow, that's Gayle Broughton, but almost I can be better than that, So that to me is leaving mana, and it's almost in a way what people say when you leave. I don't necessarily worry about people talking about if I was a great rugby player, but as long as they know that I'm a great human being off the field, that's what mana means to me, leaving mana.
Tumeki. Well, G, we're going to go back to your grandparents later, but I want to go back to Tokyo because you did leave mana in your wake. I can assure you, not only individually, but as a collective. But speaking of heart attacks, let's go back to that Fiji game, because holy hecker. You guys look so calm, but wow. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be watching this from the TVNZ studio where I was part of the broadcast team, but that Fiji-Anna game, wow, 2 points. It was awesome to see Fijian women finally get a chance to showcase their incredible skills as rugby players. And secondly, what the heck was going through your mind in that extra time?
Oh, see, now I definitely remember this like yesterday. If there's anything I remember about Tokyo, it's the bloody Fiji game. Yeah, honestly, Fiji. I think back to Townsville, even when we played them at Oceania, and even then, I could tell they were still kind of getting their team together, their combos right. But I knew, and I remember saying this to one of the coaches, if Fijiana get their combo right, they're gonna be absolutely unstoppable. And yeah, that semi-final showed it. That's them in a nutshell. Like they're skillful, they're absolutely amazing. Like passes that I don't even know how to do, but they're so fluent with the ball. And it's honestly, like, as a opposition, sometimes it's so beautiful to watch, but like when I'm defending, I'm like, please, no, please don't do that. Please, you're making
Damn,
me look
girl.
silly. Literally, like at one point, I'm like, yeah, like they're just so amazing to watch, eh? But yeah, they were amazing that whole tournament. They were definitely my favorite team to play in that semi-final. And they just, oh yeah, no words, just that. Like they were just amazing. And yeah.
Well, you bought it as well, and I think that semi-final for me was one of the favorite. I've watched you a lot as a fan and as a friend, but I have to say, you the way you progressed in your individual, you turned up at another level, I would say, and New Zealand and the world got to see the Gayle Broughton flair, those real moments where you really stepped up, and that try in that Fijian game was a real pivotal moment, obviously, in the game. Did you feel like you were playing beyond your potential, or did you feel like this is how I should be playing because I know I've got all these skills?
Yeah, it's quite like funny when I think about it, like I get quite chucked when people talk about how well I played in Tokyo, and I'm just like, I didn't play too bad.
Too bad,
but
you were
I guess
amazing.
for me, like no, I guess for me, like I'm just grateful for the people that I have on the field. My biggest thing for this last 5 years has just been playing like how I used to play in the backyard, or how I used to play with my cousins on the marae, get that same feeling. So I'm not too sure what I did differently. I'm pretty sure I listened to the same music that I have at other tournaments. So I'm not too sure what I did different to turn up. But I think it was just, it was the knowing that I had done all the preparation beforehand, and knew that I could trust myself and back myself. But like I said, I felt like I had a different level of cockiness at the Olympics, like it was just that different level of trust and belief in myself, like I said before. And I just prospered. And that Fiji game, oh wow, I think I even wanted to have a heart attack at one point, because I was like, what the absolute FUCK is going on? like honestly, like I think I could feel the heart attacks from New Zealand. So yeah, but shout out to the SES train for that nice little break to get me in that gap when I scored the final try. So nah, that
Oh,
I
the
don't really take
cultivate combo
I don't really take
actually.
credit for it.
Oh,
Well,
I mean, both of you stepped up another level in that game, and the constant breaks that and the tackles that Gossie was saving. You were finding the gaps. It was just beautiful to watch. We know what the story was. You went on to the final. You had a rest in between, and then you came out against France. What was the feeling running onto that field? This is the moment you have trained for 5 years. What was it like?
oh, I, you know what makes me laugh is 95% of my warm up for that final, I'm pretty sure, was just dancing. Like it was nothing.
What were you
Like I
dancing
did a few
to?
stretches, like I did a few stretches here and there, but I'm pretty sure 95% of it was just me with my headphones, and I think I was just listening to like some old school like garage band songs. Like I was just in the zone, like usually I listen to a lot of rap or hip hop or really like hard stuff, but yeah, I think that warm up really hit me that wow, I finally get to redeem my spot, and to be honest, for a second I definitely got scared. I definitely got scared that there was a slight chance that I could I could come second again, and I'd have to chase this whole dream for another 3 years. Um, but all my work and all my preparation building up to that moment, I knew once I walked out onto that field, and saw nobody, saw no crowd, but for me, you know, I looked up, I looked to the crowd that wasn't there, but I imagined, my grandparents sitting up in the crowd with their flag. I imagined my mum sitting up there, my aunties, my partner, all these people sitting up there, and that for me was enough. That for me cemented that, okay, my one last job of my 5 years that I've been training every day, every single moment for this moment is finally here. And yeah, I just took it with both arms and just said, come here, give it to me. Whatever you're going to throw at me, I'll throw it back twice as hard. So yeah, it was a unbelievable feeling. And I'm getting goosebumps just like talking about it. It's crazy, but yeah, it was a beautiful feeling, and yeah, I was just ready, more than ready, more than ready.
So, first of all, were you dancing by yourself, or was there other people in the team dancing with you on the warm up?
Oh, well, it's hard because I had my headphones on, so I was dancing by myself for a bit. And then I'm pretty sure me and Portia were dancing for a little too. So I definitely remember that. But nah, I'm pretty sure 95% of the time I was dancing by myself, which I don't mind, because
Yeah,
I'm a pretty good dancer. So
yeah. And if you haven't seen G on all the social media channels that she's on, you do the rhythm that you have on the field is definitely the rhythm that you have in your dancing ability. So the final whistle goes, it's 26-12. You are the Olympic champions. Is it relief? Is it just excitement? Is it just crazy town? And who's dancing with you now?
oh my god, do you know? It's so funny. So I remember in that moment, it was a midfield scrum. I've got Kelly at first five. I think Michaela's on the other side, or Stacey. Can't remember. Oh yes, Michaela. Michaela's on the other side, and in my head, I'm like looking at Kelly, and I'm like, give me the ball so I can score one more time. Like, just give me the ball because the line's right there. But she ends up kicking it out, and I remember the ref blew the whistle, and like I can't even like describe the feeling. Like, my body went absolutely numb, and I just remember looking at Kelly like, holy wow, we did it. Like, we just did it. Like, everything that we had anticipated, worked for, cried for, died on the line for, it just happened. Like, this is the moment. And yeah, gave my mate a big hug. And I think the second thing I did was I dropped to my knees because I was just like, wow, I'm an Olympic gold medalist. And I just not completed, but I just won. Yeah, I'm the first ever gold medalist in not New Zealand, but Hawera, Taranaki. I'm the first ever kid. Just it's so hard to explain, like thinking back and thinking about those moments. It's crazy, but I just know that every emotion came over me, like happy, sad because my family wasn't there, but super proud because, we had just achieved this massive goal. But most importantly, what I do remember is, like I said to you before, was everything that happened to me off the field in that 5 years is all the emotion that I felt, because just seeing, Sheree Karka, like thinking back to the last Olympics when her and Michaela were both travelling reserves to now fully set in stone sevens players. So yeah, it's just the crazy. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it now, but it's even just looking at it over in the corner on my bench, it's quite like, wow.
Oh, bring it over. Bring it over. Come on. Okay. Give us a show and tell. Come on.
Okay.
Look,
it sits in its nice little box.
Oh, great.
Sits in its nice little box. But so I don't know with Japan people, but they just like putting like boxes and boxes and boxes. So there's about Japanese 3 people? Boxes that I have to, yeah, that I have to go through.
Okay, they're lovely boxes though. There it is.
They are.
Look, and they're pretty weighty, those medals. Been fortunate to hold a friends as well. Wow, G, can you imagine, right? So you're a proud Māori girl growing up in Hawera, as you've mentioned, Taranaki hardcore, and then now you're an Olympic champion. What do you say to the young kids out there that are from these smaller towns in New Zealand, or the kids out there who are having some mental health issues? What do you say to them?
I think my biggest message would just be, don't give up on yourself. Just because you come from a small town or a small, province doesn't mean you deserve any less. And dream big, dream absolutely out of this world, because an amazing man by the name of Alan Bunting always told me, if I shoot for the stars and I miss, I'll still land on a beautiful moon. So yeah, shoot for the stars, kids. And I guess for, not only, the young kids out there with, that struggle with mental health and anxiety, and I think for me it is never weak to speak, but I think for me the biggest thing is finding who it's easy to speak with is the biggest thing. Is my message to a lot of people.
So you have spoken so much, and I know how much your grandparents mean to you and your mum. and your wider whānau. Have you been able to celebrate with them? I know it's been a crazy period since you've been back. You know, you got back, you had 24 hours, and then boom, New Zealand went into lockdown. Have you been able to share this moment with the people that have helped you so much to get to who you are today?
Yeah, it was quite cool. Once we got back, and obviously we went into lockdown, and then obviously a couple weeks later we were able to travel. So I went home for about a week, and sadly we had to cancel the gold party, which I know a lot of whānau were looking forward to. But the funny thing was, I had planned a dinner with Nan on the Friday, and there was only supposed to be like, you know, my Nan, my koro, my brothers, my aunties, my dad, you know, and his wife, and you know, not much people because obviously you can't exceed the limit of 50. So there were only supposed to be maybe like 20 people. Yeah, I showed up and there was about, I'm pretty sure there was like 50 like people on the dot at dinner. So I was like,
Oh, just in the
okay,
area.
sweet as. Yeah, I was like, no, totally fine. Pop in, have dinner. But it was awesome. I've been able to share it, and you know, I went around to a lot of cousins and aunties and showed them the medal. You know, so I haven't been able to share it with everyone, which I'm super gutted about. But hopefully COVID works itself out, and you know, for Christmas, I'm sure something can happen. You know, we'll have a little bit of a shindig. Nothing too loud.
Brilliant, G. Well, I'm sure everyone would have just been loving getting that medal around their neck and the selfies that went with that, and straight to the gram.
Yes.
Hey, I'm conscious of time, even though I'm just loving this recollection of Tokyo. But I just wanted to do a little bit of quick fire 5 with you. So, what is the best souvenir you took home from Tokyo?
Oh, would have to be the blanket, my Tokyo blanket.
Your favorite meal in the village?
They had the best pork veggie dumplings like ever in my life that I've ever had. It was the most amazing. Coming at a strong like tie for first was their ramen. I'm definitely a ramen person. Their dumplings and ramen were like just great. Now I feel like
taking
ramen.
you back, aren't I? Yes, it's about that.
Yep, you are.
Who was your favorite roommate?
I was lucky enough to have my other Naki sister, Michaela Blythe, as my roomie, which is absolutely amazing because we click like that and we're legit just like siblings. So I'm like that annoying sibling that plays music all the time, and she's the chill one that just wants to sleep all the time. But we go hand in hand. So yeah, had to be the amazing Michaela Blythe.
And what was the best meal on return to New Zealand?
Obviously we were MIQ, so Uber Eats was my best friend for about the 14 days, every day. But the first meal that I got, or the first takeaway that I got, was burger fuel. Burger fuel hits different. Yeah, when you haven't had like New Zealand food or burger fuel in a long time. So I was going to go, you know, the traditional McDonald's, KFC, but yeah, I had that on the airport, so it didn't count.
Okay, and finally, what's your plans for summer, G?
Obviously a lot of people don't know, but I'm actually when I'm not running it straight or running around with the ball, I'm usually DJing. So I'm a DJ here in the Mount. Yeah, if we run, you know, any gigs, let me know. I'm actually quite booked out for the summer, so you'll have to wait till next year. But yeah, that's kind of my plans for summer. Not too big on festivals this year. Gonna go more of a low key family type chill vibe. So besides DJ gigs, I'll be just chilling on the beach with my barbecue and my surfboard.
Not bad at all. What kind of
Living the
gigs do
dream,
you do?
says.
Like just weddings, parties, or just? Are we
Nah, so
taking this
I'm a
Gayle
bit.
Broughton DJing to another level?
I'm a bit of everything, you know. Like I'll do. I've done birthdays. I've done a couple weddings. Done a couple New Year's Eve's parties. Haven't. Oh, I was supposed to do a couple clubs when I got back from the Olympics, but sadly COVID ruined that for me. So hopefully that's something in the books for next year. But yeah, I'm an all rounder. I'm more of a kind of new school, old school R&B hip hop type
Get a
DJ.
good vibe.
But
Great.
yeah. But you know, if I'm always open to a broader playlist if you need me to. So
Okay,
but
great.
yeah, that's
I'll
a bit
keep
of
that
me.
in mind for the future. Gee, when you look back on this year, what do you feel?
When I look back on this year, what do I feel? I think the biggest thing for me this year was. Oh, that's a great question. Um, Besides obviously super proud for winning this bad boy over here, but I think for me is just gratitude. Um, just absolutely grateful for what this year has brought, you know, the ups, the downs, but most of all, the massive learnings that I've taken away from it. And it's never felt like I've lost anything, but more so I've learned and gained a lot of things. So yeah, I think for me is just staying grateful for the life that I live. Like I said, you know, not much people get to play rugby and, you know, pretty much live at the beach and DJ through the summer. So I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty cool
It's a good
life.
gig.
But yeah. But no, just absolute gratitude, sis. That's what I feel. Just super grateful.
Wicked. Hey, well, I know the Seven Sisters are back in training now, and you've got a touch tournament coming up. So
Oh
good
yes.
luck with that. I heard Ruby Tui's on your team, so I hope she's got some of your touch skill ability. Good luck.
She is. She throws a great long ball. Great long ball.
Right. But it's been awesome just reflecting on Tokyo with you. We're immensely proud of you as a Cultivate Sport athlete, and we can't wait to see what the next few years bring for you.
Thank you, Cez. Absolutely loved our chat too.
Ngā mihi.